We really should thank God for grace. God meets you where you're at the time, and God's not unfair. We should thank God for grace. God gives us grace in so many situations, even in times where we don't deserve grace. Grace is the time to get things right. Grace is the granted time to be able to correct the path that you're on before you get what you deserve, before you get punished. You understand? Like if you're speeding, if you get in a car, every time you get in the car and your MO is, your habit is to speed and go 20 miles over the speed limit every time, every chance you get, don't be surprised that if down the line you have an accident or cause an accident. But see, God gives you grace to be able to get through that. Before, if you were to see, he'll give you grace, and for you to learn, you may get a speeding ticket and you may learn and be like, oh, okay, I need to stop speeding if I could harm somebody or harm myself, and it's not getting me there no faster, it's not worth it. And you learn, and then you stop that. You have now diverted the path that you were on, but it was grace that gave you that ability. Another thing, when you young, you can eat pretty much whatever you want and not even worry about blowing up and getting big as a house and getting fat. Your metabolism is a lot faster. You don't have to you don't have to actually do research and gain knowledge on how your body works and the foods and how your metabolism works and how the digestion system of your body works and how the nutrients, what type of nutrients your body needs. You don't have to worry about that when you're young. But when you get older, you do. You have to worry about drops in testosterone, foods that drop your testosterone, things that you eat that that's gonna disrupt the system, the ecosystem in your body. All this detoxing, you have to worry about that when you get older. See, but God gives you the grace when you're younger to start learning about that before you have to do it. That's what grace is from the Lord. Grace is defined as the free and unmerited favor of God as manifested in the salvation of sinners and the bestowal of blessings. A period officially allowed for payment of a sum due or for compliance with a law or condition, especially an extended period granted as a special favor. Those are the two definitions that pretty much define God's grace for you. It's the unmerited favor of God, and in a period that he allows you to do some things that are to bump your head and do things that should obviously you would have to pay for, and that are against his laws and that are against the laws and the wills of harmony on the earth. You're doing these things, and God is giving you an allowed time before he enforces his law upon you, and before he gives you your punishment that you deserve. And he does this for an extended period granted as a special favor for you. That's all it is. God is doing you a special favor by giving you grace. Now, here is a caveat to that. God knows the heart, and some people, their hearts are revealed, and their wicked heart is revealed quickly. And in every choice that the decision that they make, God is at the end of it. This is how he sees time. He's at the end of every decision you make. God is there, and he sees all of their decisions, and in every one of them, it leads to the same wicked path. God cuts grace off from them. He's done, and they are no longer afforded grace. And it is a terrible thing to fall into the hands of the living God. There is no wins there. You don't want to do that. So we should all be thankful and thank God for grace. Thank God for, like, your parents give grace. This is how God is as a heavenly father. We go out, you drive, you could do it. You could look at any situation. Like I said, with the food, with the cars, when you were driving. I mean, even at work, when you work in a job, you're given like a grace period. A grace period to make mistakes, to do a lot of things, do some things that's not so productive for the company. You have a grace period of that. The same with believers, the same with people on the earth, non-believers alike, believers and non-believers alike. You, as secular people, as non-believers, you're giving grace by God to find to find the true living God and gain a relationship with Jesus Christ. You are given a grace period to seek and find Jesus Christ. All it takes is the faith of a mustard seed. That's not a lot. It ain't a dollar bill. It's the faith of a mustard seed. That's not a lot. And you need that in order to find Jesus Christ. You need faith in order to please God. And that's your willingness to listen to God and take him on his word and seek him at his word, instead of not having skepticism, not being like the wicked people who try to who can't even hear God, who've cut themselves off from the spiritual aspects and understanding of life. Don't be like that. Who basically don't be like the wicked who want to basically who just don't even want to follow God, so they just choose to find things to fit their narrative to wish him away. Don't be like them. They're lost, and they're in one of the worst states that you can be in on the world. But grace is given, and it should be appreciated. You understand? God could have ended this earth. He could have ended the world, all of the people reproducing, all of the people going to the movies, all of the people, getting up and seeing their families, and God could have ended that. He could have ended that but in the times before Jesus Christ, because of the wickedness of the people, the wickedness of the Israelites, his chosen people around the earth was already being wicked pagan worshipers. But his chosen people even started adopting that same wickedness, falling back into the same carnal mindset. It's the carnal mindset. That human condition is what has human beings in the position we are right now. In 2023, you have more technology than ever, but human beings are in a worse spiritual state than ever. They're dead spiritually. Human beings the harmony is leaving the earth. People are becoming less trustworthy of each other. America itself, this country that was built under God and it was held together and did so many great things under God, are abandoning the Lord, their first love, and they're becoming worse, in a worse state than they've ever been in. Their citizens are splitting up. The country can't sustain itself this way for much longer. And you better believe America has enemies waiting. This is like in biblical times. Look at how in biblical times in the Bible that they had nations that even God himself was remembering the wickedness of nations back, of times past, and then sent the armies against them for their wickedness of their past sins. How many things have America done that have pissed people off around the country? Around the world. I'm sorry. How many things America has enemies? And the reason why we've been prosperous is because of the grace and favor of the Lord. Because of how the Lord, how the first people, Christopher Columbus, all the people who came over here and established what we know as the Americas, they did that on Christian values. No matter how we look at it and how we shape whatever, no matter how you feel about it, these were their values. This is where the Constitution and things come from. These are where laws and stuff come from the heavenly courts. But God, again, before God could have just ended the world when the Israelites had just totally just deviated from following him. After all of the things he did for them and his presence being on the earth. But God could have been done with the world and ended this whole thing. But no, God gave us grace through his son, Jesus Christ. He made a new covenant with the earth. That was a grace period. God's still gonna end this wicked world, and because he only wants people in heaven who wants to be with him, and he's trying to give grace to find those people. He's giving us all grace to find. He's even give sinners grace. People can you should thank the people who are saved. You should thank those who are going to be saved in the future, because they are the ones who've afforded you the grace of God to be able to still operate on earth. Look at Sodom and Gomorrah. In Sodom and Gomorrah, when God was talking to Abraham, this is in the book of Genesis, and this is in the book of Genesis chapter 18. Let's go to verse 16 here. It says, then the men stood up matter of fact, let's go to verse 17. Let's just start there. It says, should I hide my plan from Abraham? God asked. For Abraham shall become a mighty nation, and he will be a source of blessing for all the nations on the earth. And I have picked him out to have godly descendants in a godly household, men who are just and good, so that I can do for him all that I have promised. So the Lord told Abraham, I have heard that the people of Sodom and Gomorrah are utterly evil, and that everything they do is wicked. I'm going down to see whether these reports are true or not. Then I will know. God is saying this. This is God talking. He's saying that he's going to go down and he'll know if what they're saying is true. So the other two went on toward Sodom, but the Lord remained with Abraham a while. This is God. The Spirit of God is remaining with Abraham, talking to Abraham. This is what God can do with you right now. He's talking. God, you hear God has a character. He obviously had a character, right? He's saying things. God's talking. God's talking to Abraham, reasoning with Abraham. He's counseling with Abraham. God can do that for you right now through his son, Jesus Christ. It's all you have to do. You can gain a relationship with the living God through Jesus Christ. But he's saying now, well, God's remaining with Abraham. He's talking to him, and Abraham approached him and said, will you kill the good and bad alike? Suppose you find 50 godly people there within the city. Will you destroy it and not spare it for their sakes? That wouldn't be right. Surely you wouldn't do such a thing, to kill the godly with the wicked. Why? You would be treating the godly and the wicked exactly the same. Surely you wouldn't do that. Should not the judge of all the earth be fair? And God replied, this is God speaking. Abraham spoke, God spoke. You see how this works? It's still the same way today. And God replied, if I find 50 godly people there, I will spare the entire city for their sake. Then Abraham spoke again, since I have begun, let me go on. And it got all the way down to where Abraham asked God, he said, Lord, don't be angry with me. Let not the Lord be angry. I'll speak, but thus once more, suppose only 10 are found. And God said, then for the sake of the 10, I won't destroy it. And the Lord went on his way when he had finished his conversation with Abraham, and Abraham returned to his tent. God told him that for the sake of 10 people, for the sake of 10 people, the grace of God will be on the city for the sake of 10 people. This is what's happening right now on the very earth today. For the sake of the believers and the people who love the living God, who love Jesus Christ, who want to be in heaven with him, and who want to serve him, who choose to do these things, and who endure to the end, God is giving grace to the whole earth. So with that being said, peace and blessings to the hearers and doers of the Lord's word. I am Super Solican. This is The Awakening. I'm gone.